The NBA's looming trade deadline means teams and fans alike are scouring for potential deals ahead of February 9th. But don't forget that the year's biggest blockbusters often come together in the summer, and 2023 should be no different. Because if he has any real desire to win another championship before packing it in, LeBron James will request a one-way ticket out of Los Angeles, and will be playing for a team other than the Lakers when next season tips off. Let's clear all the logistical hurdles off the top. For one, because players can't be traded for 6 months after signing an extension, LeBron isn't trade eligible until after this season's deadline, and therefore can't be dealt until the Lakers' season is over. 2, James chose LA back in 2018 for a reason, his family is now settled there, and his sons are both highly touted prospects whom James may want to keep in California. LeBron's extension, signed back in August, also includes a 15% trade kicker, which means the Lakers would have to pay King James a bonus worth 15% of the remaining money on his contract if they trade him, though James does have the option to waive that kicker. Finally, though we're about to explain why LeBron should want off the sinking ship that is the Lakers, it is important to note that James's power and influence had at least some impact on the moves that eventually led the Lakers to their current demise. Perhaps he feels some sense of responsibility to stick it out.
Yeah, right.
That said, the franchise was plagued by front office incompetence long before James arrived. And the Lakers' buffoonery will continue so long as Rob Pelinka remains general manager and Jeannie Buss continues to run the team like a small family business. James should want out for the same reasons we detailed when explaining why the Lakers should be trying to trade Anthony Davis. The team is going nowhere in the present and doesn't have the type of young talent or draft capital necessary to lift itself up in the future. Now, Lakers optimists will say that adding a star 2023 free agent to form a big three with James and Davis can vault the Lakers back to the top next season. But that assumes a then 39-year-old LeBron and Davis, who's missed more than a quarter of his team's games in his career, will stay healthy a year from now.
Sure that's not wishful thinking?
Plus, assuming free agency and the Hollywood lure of being the Lakers can fix everything is a big part of how the franchise got here over the last decade. At some point, you have to show some sort of team-building acumen, which the Lakers have little of. Given James' stature and the respect he commands, he's the party who'd have to initiate trade talks with the Lakers. No matter the state of a franchise, no team is moving LeBron James unless it's what the king wants. On that note, spare me any talk of how a trade demand could damage LeBron's legacy. He should be the NBA's all-time leading scorer by the time this season wraps up, and even the late great Kobe Bryant once famously asked out of Lakerland. The good news for those of us who'd like to see what a James trade looks like is that LeBron himself has started to say things that at least leave the door open. Though he'll turn 39 next season and is owed approximately $97 million over the final 2 years of his contract if he picks up his 2024-25 player option, no team would balk at paying up for James. And that's because he's still worth it. Though his defensive impact has waned and he needs more help than he did at his absolute peak, LeBron's still one of the best players on the planet. The guy is averaging roughly 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists on 59% true shooting while logging 36 minutes per game, with a terrible Lakers team still winning the minutes he's on the court. As a trade target, James could absolutely still swing next year's title picture like few others are capable of, especially if he lands on a team with shooting and defensive infrastructure around him. The problem is that many of the teams who possess the kind of asset capital required to trade for a superstar like James are markets James would almost surely reject, like Utah, Oklahoma City, and San Antonio, or teams further from contention than even the Lakers are, like Houston.
Worse. That's worse.
The Pelicans and possibly even the Grizzlies could both get a deal done and still offer James a chance to compete for titles with young stars. But would James okay a late career move to a small market in the Southwest? 13 years after being rejected by James in free agency, could a Knicks package built around RJ Barrett, more youngsters, and a bevy of first-round picks satisfy the Lakers? Would playing New York's long-awaited savior interest LeBron at this stage of his career? Is another Cleveland homecoming just the easiest answer here? How much of the team's young talent would the Cavs be willing to part with to bring James home one more time? And speaking of return, would a Heat package built around Tyler Hero's salary filler and whatever draft capital Miami has left to deal be enough to bring James's talents back to South Beach?
Can you see that?
Look, I know a LeBron trade would be complicated, and in all honesty, remains unlikely, even though it's within his power to force his way out of what was once his preferred destination. But step one would be James acknowledging that he wants out of what is clearly, painfully, a going nowhere situation in Los Angeles. Perhaps with each mounting Lakers loss, we at least get closer to that first step.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.